This is the tutorial for Chapter 5 from your beginning AutoCAD workbook. So in lesson number 5, we're going to go over the commands for polygon, ellipse, point, and a new snap function mid between 2 points. Okay, so a polygon is an object with multiple sides of equal length, so they're closed objects. AutoCAD will let us specify from 3 to 1024 sides. So if you wanted to make a triangle, you could use a polygon. And there's two types, inscribed or circumscribed. The difference between them. So on the left, circumscribed, so the circle is inside the polygon. On the right, it's inscribed. The polygon is inside the circle. So I'll show you how to make those. And I'm going to just take my two circles and copy them over so that we can do one over here. Okay, so up on my draw panel, I'm going to select polygon. Don't see it. You must have rectangle on. So just take the little drop down beside rectangle and pick polygon. So the number of sides we're going to do is 6. So type 6 on your command line. It says to specify a center point. And then it says inscribed or circumscribed. So we'll do the first one, circumscribed. Specify radius. I'm just going to touch the edge of my circle and it creates my polygon. I'm going to do another polygon, so 6 sides. Specify my center point. This time I'm going to select inscribed instead, and I'm going to touch the corner of my polygon, or the quadrant of my circle. So that gives us circumscribed and inscribed polygons. Ellipses, there's 3 different methods for making ellipses. You're probably only going to use 1 or 2, but we'll go over them. So the first one is center. So first you select the center of the ellipse, then you select your point along the x-axis for the diameter of it, and then you select your point along the y-axis for your diameter. Or, sorry, since they're from the middle, your radius. So let's do center. So I'm going to do center. I'm going to turn my F8 on to keep it nice and straight. So I could type a distance if I wanted. So instead of just clicking, I'm going to type 1. And again, I could just move my mouse to get my other distance, but I'm going to type 0.5. So that's your first ellipse using center. For axis end, we select the 2 outer limits of the length, and then the third is our width. So I'm going to select here, and then I could just click where I want, but instead I'm going to type in 3. And again, I could click wherever I want, but I'm just going to type in 0.5. And the last one, elliptical arc. So that doesn't create a full ellipse, it just creates a partial one for you. So your first 2 points determine the length of that first axis. So in the last one I typed 3 for that. So the third point is your distance between the center of the arc and the end of the second axis. The 4th and 5th points are the start of the end angles. So this one, you'll probably have to play around with this one a little bit to get it to do what you want it to do. And you're really not going to use it very often. On page 5-7, they start to talk about points. We use points a lot in AutoCAD. So everything we're doing has an X, Y, and a Z point. Since we're just working in 2D, everywhere that we move, the Z is going to be 0. The X and Y will change, but the Z is 0. So X is across, Y is up. So sometimes we want to draw points places and then just draw lines or some sort of geometry to connect them. So to draw a point, you can either type the command point or just type PO for point. And then it's going to ask you, where do you want it to be? So I'm just going to click right where my mouse is right now. Now you probably won't see something like that show up because I've used this command, DDP type, enter. So what DDP type does is AutoCAD's default point style is this little teeny tiny dot, but these are all other point styles. So I'm going to turn it back to the little teeny tiny dot. I'm going to type point, and I'm going to make another point, and you'll see just the slightest little tiny dot on your screen. You're probably not going to be able to find it. So this is when you would use DDP type. Select a different point style, and it'll change any points that you've already made, and plus new points in the future will be drawn this way. And the last thing they go over in lesson number 5 is some more snap settings. So under the snap settings, if you wanted to snap to those points, you have to pick node. The other snap setting they have is nearest, so you can go anywhere along a line and have it connect. But this other one, mid 2 points, MTP. So you don't see that on the list. All you see is midpoint. But if I had 2 lines drawn, let's say I wanted a line vertically in the very middle between those two, I could draw a line across the top and then I could go and take the midpoint of it and draw a line down. But you don't have to do that. Hit line to make your line, then push your shift key and right click your mouse button. So your new custom list will come up, your running snaps. So pick mid between 2 points. Then it's going to say, okay, what points do you want it between? I'm going to say this point and this point. So now I can draw a line exactly in between those. Okay, so that covers everything in lesson number 5. You can go ahead to the exercises at the end of chapter 5 in your book.